Good evening, bonsoir, bienvenue à la réunion plénière du 12 janvier. Welcome to the Committee of a Whole on January 12th. Happy New Year, bonne année. Notre première rencontre après les fêtes. So we'll go straight to declaration of conflict of interest. Ms. Parker, do we have any conflict of interest this evening?
Yes, we do. Deputy Mayor Knowles has declared a conflict of interest with item 2.3, Bathurst Hospitality Days.
All right. So this evening we're talking for the 2026 grants requests. And if council is okay, what we'll do is we'll take the 2.3 for hospitality days and I'll move it to 2.7. We'll replace, and then this way we'll, Deputy Mayor Knowles will be able to stay through the every grant instead of leaving and having to come back. So this evening council has received all the documentation, and these are requests that we received prior to the holidays, but these requests are for 2026. And we can start with the Bathurst Art Society. So the amount requested is $7,000 for arts and culture. And last year they were given $7,000. So I am bringing it to the table to see if council has any objections on the amount or agreements on the amount. The floor is open. Any questions, any recommendations? Any objections for the $7,000? I'll start with any objections for the $7,000 for the arts and culture. No? Might be a short meeting. It's a good one. Okay. Buckle up. All right. We have the Bathurst Heritage Museum. They requested $22,000. Last year we gave them $17,000. And as a reminder, the Bathurst Heritage Museum is all volunteer work. And I think the funds that we give them is mostly to help operation, pay electricity and whatnot. So there's a $22,000 request. We gave them 17 last year. So we have 22 on the table. Any objections for the 22? Okay, Councillor Anderson.
I do find that the 22 is a little high. I would be comfortable with the amount that we gave last year, but I find that 22 we're getting a little steep.
Okay. Councillor Burnett.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. I would be happy with the 22. I know that the volunteer president of the Bathurst Heritage Museum had to take out a personal loan to do some of the work at the building. It's really hard to keep a building open for $22,000, and we got to decide whether we really want it. We heard today at the tourism meeting that people come to Bathurst for accommodations. So we have good accommodations. For restaurants, we have some good restaurants, and also they want something to do when they're here. So that's when they go to the art gallery. That's when they go to the museum, and I guess the people at the Tourist Information Center are sending people to the museum all the time. And so they get a good first impression there, because even the work they did last year, somebody came back from the United States, I forget where exactly, and went into the museum and said, boy, it smells better in here today than it did last year. And that's because they changed the carpeting, and the carpeting was deteriorating to the point where the glue was all coming off it. So I'm favoring the 22,000.
Okay. So any other recommendations? We have a 22,000. Councillor Hondas?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm kind of in between this. I'd like to see them get what we can afford, actually. So I'd like to meet in the middle, maybe. If we can go maybe like the 19.5 or something, give them a little bit more than last year, but not go right to the 22. I know my fellow councillors would agree with that, but I'd be comfortable at around 19.5. I think we're kind of meeting in the middle and giving them a little bit more of what they need, and if we can afford to go that high, well, why not help them out a bit more? Like Councillor Burnett said, it is a kind of a mainstay in our city, and a lot of people are going through those doors, and why not help them a bit?
Okay. Councillor Anderson?
Just one other point I want to make. Like last year, what we gave was in excess of what we have given typically other years, like considerably higher than what we have given other years. And this was to help contribute towards replacing the carpet. Monies that we had given in previous years that was a little above was for special projects. So I personally, I feel that 17,000 is still considerably more money than we have given them, especially where there's no specific projects. This is simply to go towards hydro, insurance, and water, I believe.
Okay.
So I feel that at 17,000, it's considerably higher than what we have given in the previous years.
All right. Councillor Burnett?
Thanks, Madam Mayor. I would go along with what Councillor Hondas is recommending. And the other thing about the project, well, they didn't do the bottom floor with the flooring because they didn't have the money, but they borrowed it. And, it's still got to be paid for because it does smell a heck of a lot better, in the whole building because of the age of the old flooring.
Okay.
So I'd go with the recommendation of 19.5.
All right. So, Councillor Willett?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I would also follow for what Councillor Honda does because we did give them the $5,000 more last year to do the bottom floor, but they went ahead and took a loan and did the top floor too. So basically, I don't think it's right for a volunteer to be funding a place where everybody else goes to visit while they're here.
Okay. Councillor Branch?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I agree also because, we gave more last year because of the capital upgrades and same thing. And when you look at the $20,000 loan outstanding to a volunteer, same thing. I don't think they should be funding that. So I have no problem giving extra money this year to help.
And what would you recommend, a 19.5?
I'm okay with the 19.5, and if other people would have been fine with the 22, I would have been okay with that also, right? Like I say, just because this is a temporary thing to help them out with their required upgrades.
Okay, thank you. So I'll go to Councillor Scary. We've got a few options on the table.
I would say definitely after attending the tourism meeting today, and you realize that we do have people do come to the area and they do talk about the museum, and it gives us something else to draw people in, and it's a major part of our area. I would say 19.5.
19.
Yes.
Perfect. Councillor Legacy?
Just as a reminder, can we get the amount that's in the budget for this? How much we have available?
Oh, okay. So we have 121,000 in our discretionary fund. That's a good point. And we have 72,000 left in tourism. And this would be taken probably out of the discretionary because it's the operation, the overall operation, and work that needs to be done.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. And what would your recommendation be?
I'm okay following the majority of the 19.5.
Okay, all right. Deputy Mayor Knowles.
I'm fine with the 19.5. I would go along with that, yep.
Okay. Conseiller Leblanc? Ouais? Okay, so everybody would be okay with 19.5? 19.5. Right. The New Brunswick Medical Education Foundation. So this is the one, as you know, we've been sponsoring two students. Maybe Mr. Pettigrew can add to it a little bit more as well, is from the moment that we started sponsoring the two doctors when we first started this, 4 or 5 years ago, they are now practicing in Bathurst. So we certainly get a value from this, and especially that since we are giving them, a sponsorship, a student sponsorship, they come back and they commit to 5 years. So it's a good way for us to bring doctors to the region for our citizens. So in the years past, we gave $10,400. Has the fees increased? Because I see there's $10,400 or $12,480, Mr. Pettigrew. Or you can answer that. Perfect, Ms. Parker.
The reason why there's two of them is the $10,400 is if they attend a school that is not in Quebec. Quebec has a higher fee. So if you decide to do the $12,480, that would give the opportunity to some students to go to a school that is in Quebec and then be able to come back here.
Okay, so the $10,400 would be for in New Brunswick or anywhere else, But the 12,480 would be if they studied in
The
Quebec.
French program, for some reason, is pricier.
Okay. All right. So I'll start by, is everyone okay with wanting to sponsor 2 again? Yes. Okay. The question comes to, do we stay at 10,004? Or do we do 10,004 or 12,480? Because we're looking at an extra $4,000 and $4,040. Yep. Oh, sorry. That's what I'm looking at you like, speak. Oh, I started the giggles before the meeting and now I'm just like.
Here's my question, maybe, Amy Lynn, maybe you can answer it. I know students that we are currently sponsoring are are at the University of Moncton, but that's through the University of Sherbrooke, which is a Quebec university. So that's why I'm confused about the change, because I want to say the majority of the kids that we're currently sponsoring is through the University of Sherbrooke program.
Fortunately, I don't have the answer to that. I was just given the explanation that one of the programs in Quebec itself is more expensive.
Unless the fees went up.
Maybe.
I don't know, like, I'd like to have some clarification on that, because it just doesn't really make sense, because like I said, like, because I'm sure, and any child that is going through the French medical system right now, the affiliation is University of Sherbrooke, and
Yeah.
they do their, through UTM,
UTM.
or even, there's even in Shippagan, there's courses they can take, or stuff they can take in Shippagan as well, but that's all filtered through the University of Sherbrooke.
Okay.
So that's my concern, because I mean, certainly all the kids that we've sponsored so far, none of them have been just English-speaking kids.
So could we, for this evening, agree that we do 2 for 10,400? And then we'll come back for more information?
Yeah,
Oh, you're reading the email now? Okay. Oh, Councillor Knowles, Deputy Mayor Knowles.
Okay, sorry, I was going to ask a question, but I can wait for more clarification like the rest. I think we should get more clarification. But the 2 is fine, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Conseiller Leblanc?
Merci. Moi, ce que je pensais, c'était peut-être à cause, d'habitude, qu'un étudiant hors province paye plus cher s'il va dans une autre province. Donc, si un étudiant du Nouveau-Brunswick qui irait étudier au Québec, il paierait plus cher. Parce que si un étudiant du Québec vient étudier ici, il paye plus cher qu'un étudiant du Nouveau-Brunswick, exemple. C'est ça qui m'est venu à la tête. Là.
Ouais.
J'ai peut-être tort.
Okay. Oh, I think Ms. Parker has an answer.
I'll
good.
just read the response I received when I asked about it. The reason for the ask of a consideration for an increase to 6,000, which would equal the 12, for each scholarship is that the tuition fees at the University de Sherbrooke / UTM, so you're correct, are subsidized by the province of Quebec and cap out at $6,000.
Okay, so we would cover the balance. Okay.
Yeah, because it says $6,000 would provide a full scholarship tuition. So if we do the lower amount, then I guess they would have to pay a portion of the fee.
The out of pocket, okay. All right, so it would be 12,480, so basically $2,080 per. Yep, oh, sorry. We're getting rusty on this.
been way too long.
Sorry.
But that would, it wouldn't necessarily mean that we had to do 6,000 per child. It all depends on what university they're going to, what
Yes.
medical school they're going to. So the option is there. If we put aside the 12,000 based on the applicants that are received, correct.
Yeah,
You might have somebody through Dow. Well, then you're not going to be paying the 6,000, right?
yeah. So we can commit to the 12,480 and see if they, for 4 years, that's the thing. The request is for the next 4 years as well.
Yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
yes? Okay. Yes, the 12,480. It's bringing doctors to the region. We're doing our share. Perfect. Chaleur Air Cadet, Chaleur, hashtag 640 Air Cadet, has asked 5,200 for sports support for activities. We have not given any money to them in the past, and they've come forward with a $5,200 request. So I am going to the floor. Councillor Willett?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. To me, this would be like us giving money to minor hockey. So it's a group of kids. I don't know. I know I spent many years in the Air Cadets. We used to do tag day to pick up the money for do our activities and that. So I got a funny feeling if we press the button on this one, we're going to get a slew of requests from all other organizations. So.
Okay. Councillor Burnett?
Thanks, Madam Mayor. We also heard today at the tourism conference, I guess, that there are monies for sports and leisure, and that there was a presentation on that. And I wonder if they've tapped into that money for sports, and because they said that they weren't using it all that they had. So maybe we could give them a bit of seed money and tell them there's other agencies out there that can help sports and leisure, because we heard that today.
I'm in agreement. If we go there, you may as well open the book, because there's a lot more that's going to come in. It's like minor hockey. It's like every other club that's out there trying. Does Councillor Branch?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Because it's a regional organization, I mean, doesn't the Service Commission have something where they'll give a one-time for certain organizations that is around the $5,000 mark?
I think so. I think they have a $5,000 that can be used, and they don't necessarily have to give the whole $5,000. They can give for $1,000 here and $1,000 there. So we can ask them to come and do a request to the Regional Service Commission.
Recommend that they go there, right?
Yeah.
Because it is a regional organization anyway.
Okay, we'll do that. Everybody's okay with that? We'll recommend that they go to the Regional Service Commission? Okay. Chaleur Planet Youth. This is another project that is in operation right now, and they have requested $41,556. As you know, they came and did the presentation, and this would be to support the campaign and the participation program. Councillor Burnett.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. It seems like a very good organization, and looks like they have some good ideas, but I think it's a provincial responsibility. You're going into the health field, and health is a department of the provincial government, not the municipal government.
Right. Any other recommendations or suggestions? Is everybody okay if we say no? Oops, all right. Councillor Anderson?
Thank you, Your Worship. I'm in agreement with Councillor Burnett on this one. I do believe that this funding should come from the provincial government. And this, again, is a regional initiative. And I don't think that the City of Bathurst should be expected to cough up the monies for everything Chaleur.
Okay. Conseiller Leblanc, j'avais vu que tu avais ta lumière allumée. Okay.
Moi, c'était pour dire que je pourrais vivre avec donner un peu d'argent parce que j'adore le programme, là. Mais pour exactement la même chose que conseiller Anderson disait, c'est que c'est un programme régional.
Ouais.
Je pense que... Puis je suis d'accord aussi avec conseiller Brunet, c'est une initiative qui devrait être provinciale. Après ça, s'il me reviendrait et dirait que oui, on a rencontré la province, mais il nous manque 4 000 $ pour atteindre tel objectif, peut-être que je verrais ça d'un autre œil. Mais pour commencer, je trouve, surtout quand on est demandé de financer le tout, là.
Ouais.
Pour commencer, ça fait que si mes collègues auraient été d'accord pour une coupe de 1000, j'aurais accepté à cause que j'adore le programme. Mais si c'est zéro, c'est ça que ça va être.
Je pense que ce qu'on pourrait faire, c'est peut-être éventuellement, s'ils font un projet ou une activité qui pourrait peut-être venir nous voir, mais c'est quand même 41 556, c'est pas donné. C'est quand même un gros montant. On peut toujours leur dire, si jamais ils font une initiative, comme on a fait avec Coaction, quand ils font des activités, puis essayer de... Parce que je sais que la CSR travaille avec eux autres aussi pour les aider d'aller chercher des fonds. OK. We'll say no. Perfect. Okay. Victoria Park Enhancement Committee, $5,000 request. We've given $5,000 in the past, and we know that they do a wonderful job. Any objections with the $5,000? No? Perfect. Okay, so we are going to go to hospitality days. I think I've done them all, right, Ms. Parker? Okay. Yep. We'll let you know when we're done. All right. Hospitality Days has done a request of $50,000 like they've done in years past. And so we have a $50,000 on the table, and I will go to council. All right. Councilor Anderson?
Thank you, Your Worship. Initially, when we gave $50,000, I want to say 3 years ago or so, it was under the guise that it was not going to be a permanent $50,000 donation towards hospitality days going forward. Prior to, this was to help them after COVID. Prior to COVID, I want to say we gave anywhere between $10,000 and $15,000 a year to the committee. The committee always made that work. There was an issue, I know the year the tent blew down, and council at the time helped them out because of circumstances that took place, which was fine. But they ran it with between $10,000 and $15,000 in the city of Bathurst. So again, it was never meant to be permanent, and the prior executive, when they came and asked for the last $50,000, reiterated the fact that this is not meant to be a permanent donation. They didn't expect us to maintain that level. This year, when I look at what transpired with hospitality days this year, anything that took place outside of the beer tents was community driven, community paid. There wasn't a cent that came out of hospitality days to pay for the events that took place during the week. I personally ran an event. The money came out of my pocket and other committee members' pockets. I know Ms. Parker ran an event. The money came out of her pocket, and there was many other people in the same situation. So we're giving $50,000. Where's this money going to? I see they made a nice big sign for a piece of property that we have nothing to do with. That was to the tune of $2,000 or $3,000 to pay for that sign. This year coming up, we're going down to 2 music nights, which I don't disagree with. And I know that there was money left over from the previous executive, based on all the what's the word I'm looking for, the requests that they put in through the province and the federal government, like the different fundraising streams that were out there available to them. So I have a hard time, and I have brought up giving $50,000. I brought it up last year that I was against it. I'm certainly against it this year. And on top of that, when I look at the in-kind that we give, we're almost at $18,000 of in-kind from the city of Bathurst. Mm-hmm. So that's taking us up to almost $70,000. Like, I'm completely against giving this amount of money again this year, and I think we should be going back to the level of funding that we have always given hospitality days.
And what would you recommend?
No more than $15,000.
Okay. All right. So, Ms. Parker, so between Parks and Recreation and Public Works, that's the in-kind, it's our employees that are spending time throughout the hospitality days, working at the vendor at the beginning, you know, when people are coming in for their tickets. That's helping the setup. So the $17,700 is in-kind from our city employees. Okay, perfect. Councillor Burnett.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. First, I apologize for not doing more homework, but the presentation by Mr. Lennon, I think, brought the total cost to running that hospitality days up to, was it $600,000? Am I wrong? That was it. Do you have a copy of that, Ms. Parker? Yeah. Was it? What's that? You're looking at? Yeah. It seemed to me it was a large amount of money, and again, when they brought in Bare Naked Ladies, the chairman of the committee at the time went to his personal funds in order to bring in such a quality group. And last year we had good quality people, don't get me wrong, but there were a lot of local good quality people. And sometimes it takes that draw to get people here. I don't know, was it 600? Did you find that? Am I-
641.
What's that?
641
won the
pounds.
festival. Yeah, so I can see 50,000 is not a real big chunk of change compared to 641. So I guess I support it.
Okay.
What's that?
Councillor LeBlanc?
Ouais. Je suis un peu perplexe parce que 2 ans passés, il y a eu un surplus de 181 000 pour débuter l'année dernière, si vous voulez. Et puis, je suis un peu entre les deux. Quand je dis entre les deux, je veux dire conseillère Anderson et conseiller Brunet, parce que là, on n'a pas de headliner de la même trempe que l'année précédente. Et cette année, comme elle a dit, je suis pas contre non plus, mais ça a été réduit à 2 soirs seulement, avec des headliners, on va dire, un peu moins coûteux qu'auparavant. Et je suis encore d'accord avec elle que ça avait été très clair. Je pense 2 ans en ligne qui nous a dit non, c'est recommandé, ça ne sera pas tous les années 50 000. Mais l'envers de la médaille, le festival attire bien du monde. L'année passée, moins. Cette année, je m'attends un petit peu moins encore, parce qu'il n'y a pas de gros headliner comme les années précédentes, comme justement Bare Naked Ladies, quelque chose de même. C'est ça que ça prend si tu veux aller du monde d'ailleurs. C'est vraiment un gros nom et un gros risque. Là, pour moi, tout ça étant dit, regarde, je crois au festival, mais il y a d'autres organismes qui vont avoir besoin d'argent cette année ici à Bathurst. On lui donne déjà presque 20 000 en in-kind. Moi, je serais d'accord avec un 30 ou un 35 000, plus le in-kind qu'on donne. Ça, je pourrais vivre avec ça. Mais je suis un peu bafoué qu'avec un plus petit festival, que les coûts sont plus hauts qu'une année où on avait la plus grosse tête d'affiche qu'on a peut-être jamais eu ici en 30 ans.
Okay. Councillor Hondas?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm going to go back a few years. I remember when I was president of Hospitality Days, we got no funding from the city. We got in-kind. The only time that we got money from the city is when Councillor Anderson pointed out when the tent went down. We needed somebody to kind of get over the hump. The city had, I think, Councillor Burnett was the mayor at the time. They had given us a loan that we were paying back, $6,000 a month and then they kind of voided the last payment, so which was great. After that, the city started giving a donation, financial donation. I think at the time, I'm looking, I think, Councillor Anderson, I think it was around $20,000, if I'm not mistaken, from going back to what I remember. And then it stayed 2020 till COVID hit, and then we bailed them out because they had a bad couple of years. The $641,000 that you allude to, Councillor Burnett, I believe is the weekend that they brought the week that they brought Bare Naked Ladies. I don't think it cost them $640,000 last year. That's what it said last year? Okay, well then that's where my next question comes. I'd love to see those books because, as Councillor LeBlanc pointed out, I think the year before $640,000 would make sense. Last year, I have kind of a hard time to understand the math. I'm for our festival, don't get me wrong. I've worked at it a long time. I have a few questions that I'd like to get answered. I've contacted the president. I have one question, but he hasn't got back to me on it yet. I think 15 is a little low for what we need to keep going if we want to keep this. But I have questions of, how long are they going to be at Vickers Field? I don't think that fits into the Coronation Park master plan to have. So they're going to have to look at another location. When does that come into play? I know they made that nice big pond up there, and they had a wish list. They made it, and if we could make it happen, but I don't think that where they want to put it was ever going to be viable. Anyway, I want to see this festival continue, but I think that if they don't need the whole 50,000, I think we cut it back this year until. And then go forward from there every year. Look at it. If they bring a bigger act like another Bare Naked Ladies, they'll come and ask another request. They do every year. So I think with the in-kind, if we went to 25,000 plus the in-kind, we're still giving them technically their $50,000. So that's my little brain in the works there, guys. I don't want to see them not succeed, but like Councillor LeBlanc said, there's other people that might need the funds also. So that's kind of where I sit with it.
Okay. As a reminder, there's $72,000 left in tourism, and we're just starting the year. Councillor Branch.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Same as everybody else, I agree with supporting, obviously. It's a big festival, and they do great things for the region, and for the city especially. So, but yes, I remember like we went to the 50,000 and we debated that quite a bit, right? Because it, it was supposed to be the 1 year, and I remember some of us voted against it, like we had trouble deciding. I lost the financials. I had them on my computer, but it did a update for some reason, involuntary update. So, but it looked, the 641 was the top line, but it looked like they had almost $39,000 left over from last year. So they have almost $40,000 left over. Then we don't need to give them nearly $50,000, right? Like everyone else is saying, like we can do the in-kind and a smaller donation.
What would you recommend as a donation?
Well, I mean, like Councillor Anderson was saying, like $15,000 or whatever, right? I mean, if they have almost $40,000 left over, they could, that would take care of a lot of that $50,000 donation they're asking from us.
Okay. Councillor Anderson?
Thank you, Worship. Just one additional thing I wanted to point out, just in reference to thinking that 15 may be low, possibly. However, the reason why I came up with that number is because we're back to focusing on beer tents solely. Like, where is there anything for the rest of the community? If somebody doesn't want to go and sit at a beer tent and drink for 2 nights, what is there for other people in the community to do when they're not planning anything for and that's where I'm coming with the 15. If they were to come and say, we wanted to plan this, that, and the next thing for the community, for children, for me, hospitality days is about families and children. It's not just about a party. So if they were to come forward and say, we wanted to plan this, that, and the next thing for families, and not have it be put on other community members to take money out of their own pockets to do this, I might be a little bit more inclined to increase what I think is sufficient, especially when you're looking at almost $18,000 of in-kind on top of it. Just my 2 cents.
Okay. Councillor Willett?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm more in the line with Councillor LeBlanc. I think if we're giving $17,500 in kind, then probably around $32,000 as a donation to hospitality would be good for this year, with definitely the warning saying that we're not going there next year. So, if it's going to become a party again, like, I'm not willing to support it neither. But for this year, I am willing to go to the $32,500 or $35,000 plus the in-kind to keep the festival going. But they're going to have to do a little bit more work and a little bit more fundraising to keep on going after next year. So.
Okay. Councillor Scary?
Just one of the things, I mean, again, Hospitality Days has sort of a spot in my heart too, being involved in it for a number of years. It does take a lot of work, but one of the things that just sort of, we're giving them a large sum of money, and then at the end of the festival, they're taking some of their profits. Now, they are supporting local groups and making donations to various groups around the city, but that's also coming out of that money that is there and earmarked for the festival expenses. So, I mean, not that I don't think they, I think it's a neat idea or a good idea, but they're using that profit money to turn back to the community, making them look really, really good. Whereas, we're donating $50,000 worth of, that's right, we're paying for it, and the other sponsors are paying for it in the long run as well. And then the following year, they're going to come back and say, well, we want to go bigger, So we need more money from you because we want to bring in a bigger act. So I think maybe by them looking at, just taking a look at where their money's going at the end, you know, I don't know exactly what they donated locally, but there was several thousands of dollars that would go a long way to offset some of their operating expenses. That's my thought on it.
Okay. Councillor Branch?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yeah, that's something that we had mentioned last year, the year before. Same thing, right? Like, if we're donating to them, we should be deciding where the donations are made. It's our dollars being donated. One thing I just wanted to suggest is, can we table this until we have the audited financial statements? We're going off numbers that are unofficial, right? It would be nice for when the audited financials come back, then we could look at those and maybe ask more questions and make a decision.
So there's a motion on the table. Yeah. Okay, there's no, oh, it's true, we're not in a public meeting. Okay. So we have, I'll let other people speak, and then we'll come back. Okay?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Councillor Hondas?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I know that they have put out their musical acts for the weekend, but they haven't come back to say that they're not doing something for family-oriented during the week. That's going to what Councillor Branch just mentioned. Maybe we can have a discussion to see if there's going to be more activities that are going to be associated to this, more than just 2 nights at Vickers Park, which I think, if you look at it, the fireworks are going to be there, the parade's going to be back, there's bound to be stuff, the car show's coming back, that's all family-oriented things. So I still think, Councillor Anderson, that 15 is a little low. Working in that festival for X amount of years with nothing, and then, but I'm, like Councillor LeBlanc said, I'd be comfortable with 25 plus the in-kind. And I think there's going to be more than just a week, the 2 days of music during that week of hospitalities. Or at least I hope so. If that's the case, then I agree with you 100%, Councillor Anderson. But I think nobody's here to answer those questions. That's questions we can ask the President. Maybe he can come make us a slight presentation to see if there's anything more than just music. But I think the car show's back. I think the fireworks are back. The parade's going to be back. So there's going to be family-oriented activities for more than just the people that want to go have a toddy at first base.
Conseiller Leblanc?
Merci, madame. Oui, conseiller Hondas, vous avez tout à fait raison. Je pense qu'il va ramener d'autres affaires. Parce que d'ailleurs, si vous avez écouté l'entrevue que le président a faite avec madame la mairesse, c'est une chose qu'il a parlé, quand il a parlé des... comment se rappelle ça, le street party, là, il y a un nom pour ça, là.
Block party.
Le block party, justement, qu'il va avoir des agrandissements. Ça fait que je suis d'accord, je pense qu'il y a d'autres choses qui s'en viennent dont on n'est pas au courant. Et une des raisons pour laquelle que je voulais qu'on remplisse le 50 000, que je disais 35 000 avec le in-kind, ça reviendrait aux 50 000 qu'on donnait auparavant, parce que je sais qu'il y a d'autres idées, d'autres initiatives. Ça fait que tu as 100% raison. Et tu as aussi raison, en tout cas, moi, je pense que ça serait vraiment bon d'avoir le président ici pour pouvoir poser ces questions-là avant de décider sur des montants de ce genre-là. C'est quand même, tu sais, 50 000 là, c'est beaucoup. Là, c'est nos payeurs de taxes qui payent ça. Là.
Oui. Okay. Councillor Anderson?
Sorry, just one more point,
Yep, go ahead.
then I'll zip it. Block party doesn't cost hospitality days anything. It's put on by DBRC, I believe, and the bars downtown, is it not? I don't believe it's any money out of hospitality days.
Yeah, they're adding. We did an interview. They're going to be doing something different this year for the block party. Yeah. Okay. We don't have the details yet.
The one point that Councillor Hondas made that hit the nail on the head. You guys were involved for many years with hospitality days, and it ran well, and it was a great festival for many, many years. And as you said, you did it with nothing. And look at what you did. There was events every night. There was things for children. There were things for seniors. There was the tent. There was the oyster thing. There was always an event down in that tent all week long, and you did it with nothing.
All right, so we have a recommendation from Councillor Branch to table this, and maybe we can ask the President for the financials, if they'd be able to provide it, and actually come and do a presentation to do an active breakdown of what was spent. Okay. Of what's coming. Yeah, of what's coming, exactly. Well, what they finished with last year, which I think we've got some of the numbers, but, and, you know, there's a lot of grants out there, because we know, and then, of course, sponsorship. I think they got almost $250,000 last year in sponsorships and grants. So there is a lot of money out there with Tourism New Brunswick and everything else with the amount of people that were coming to the city. So we will table that one then, and we'll bring it back. No, because we're not in a public meeting. That's what I was going to do, and then Ms. Parker said, no, we're in the committee of a whole, we're good. Okay, so we'll be able to go get Mr. Knowles back. And, well, you know, thank you, council, for coming overall. So, Ms. Parker, just as a quick overview, $7,000 to the Bathurst Art Society. We are, for the Bathurst Heritage Museum, we agreed to 19.5. And Victoria Park, the 5,000. And then for the medical education, we will go the 12.48. All right. And for Chaleur and Planet Jeunesse, no, nothing. And then hospitality days, we'll ask the president to come back. Perfect. Thank you for being with us. Merci d'être avec nous ce soir. Je vous souhaite tous une belle soirée et bonne soirée. Have a good evening.